I can assure you he is truly a very sick boy.
I think you mean sick girl. Hello and welcome to Sick Girl, the podcast. I am your host, Ashley Singleton, and today I really wanted to dive into and talk about grief and acceptance when it comes to living with chronic illness. I think these topics are really important. I think they're hard to talk about. For me, I still struggle. Fellow sick girls and guys, when I was first diagnosed with my chronic illnesses, I spent probably a year or two thinking to myself, okay, this is it's like a sinus infection, you know? You get sick, you take medication, and you get over it. You get better, and you go back to your life, and you look back and you're like, oh, that sucked, but I got over it. I didn't realize at the time that certain conditions like POTS or chronic regional pain syndrome, that my life would alter for the foreseeable future. Like, I felt like I just kept working on, I'm going to get over this, I'm going to get back to my old life, everything will be fine. And slowly over time, I was getting better in certain areas. My life was feeling a little bit more normal, but it still came with like this new normal that I was dealing with. So instead of maybe functioning at 100%, I functioned at 80% on any given day. The day that it hit me that I probably wasn't going to ever be back to what I used to be, that was a rough day. That was hard. It hit me hard that day. Because like with POTS, for instance, you can manage it. You can live a decently normal life, but it's still always there. Like if I miss 2 days of my routine, my POTS is back full blown back, like all the way back. With my CRPS, if I turned off my spinal cord stimulator, the pain would be back in a day. So these conditions can be managed, but they're always kind of there. I lived in denial for like 2 years. For like two or 3 years, I was really I just thought to myself, if I could just be a little bit stronger, or if I could just work a little bit harder and push myself a little bit harder, I would get back to where I used to be. Or I would gaslight myself. I'd be like, Ashley, like, you're being weak. This is not who you are. You know you can do better. Push harder. Do more. And I'm making myself worse. But at the time, I was like, this is not me. I am not this sick person. And I was in therapy at the time. I was doing DBT therapy and one-on-one sessions. I just said to my therapist, like, I don't think my old life is coming back. Before I got COVID and sick, I lived in LA. I was doing stand-up. I was living my life. I was living alone. I was fine. And I spent 2 years after COVID trying so desperately to get back to that. To get back to a place of normalcy. 2 years in, like, I still couldn't get in the shower without needing help because I would pass out. It just hit me. I was like, I'm not going back, really, am I? Like, that life that I had worked for, that I was proud of, it wasn't coming back. And it felt like a death of part of myself. Like, part of myself that wanted that so badly, that put in all the work. That person that was not sick was gone. And coming to that realization was brutal. It was just this moment of like, what do I do now? Like, who am I now? What am I working for, even? Like, why am I trying to get better if that's not coming back? And I just was really low for a long time. And I think what people don't understand if you don't live with chronic illness is not only do you grieve the life you had, but then you grieve the life you wanted, and you grieve the life you're not going to have. So for me, it was like, I had to let go of trying to get back to my life post-COVID, because it wasn't coming back. I'm not going to function at that level again for the foreseeable future. That independence is gone for now. It might come back, but I don't know. And then I started thinking, like, what if I can never live alone again? And what does that mean for my life? And does that mean I can't go back and try to achieve my dream if I can't live alone? Like, it's not like I can ask a roommate to take on all my problems and help me when I have a POTS episode. And then I started thinking, well, how can I achieve my dream of being a comedian. I can't stand for more than 5 minutes without wanting to pass out. Maybe a stand-up comedian who passes out 5 minutes into her set, like, I mean, it would be different. It would be memorable, but not ideal. And so I talked to my therapist, and I was just like, I don't know how to let go of this. Like, I don't know how to accept this is who I am now. And so I really tried to think about acceptance and accepting that. And I still struggle with this every day, that I have to accept that my body functions at 80% when other people function at 100%. I watch people that I did stand up with when I lived in LA, and they're so much further ahead of me, and they're doing so many more shows and meeting so many more people, and I had to grieve the fact and accept the fact that they are able to do opportunities that I cannot do due to my chronic illnesses. And that is a tough pill to swallow. It is incredibly difficult to be like, you're doing everything I want, everything I dreamed of, everything I worked for, and the only reason I'm not there next to you doing it is because if I push myself too hard, I spend a week on the couch because I've pushed too hard. And then I remind myself, like, this is my life now. This is it. This is my new normal. What can I do from here? How can I make this new normal, this new life, enjoyable, fun, exciting? How do I make opportunities for myself that I am able to do? Like, just even like day to day, like, how can I make today enjoyable? I know it's going to be hard because living with chronic illness every day is hard. There's not a day that goes by that it is not difficult to sometimes get through the day physically. And literally every day, every single day I wake up, and it is almost like a surrender. Like, my dad's in AA, and I really do feel like the serenity prayer of like accepting the things I cannot change. I can only do what I can do. And after that, like, I just have to let go. Letting go of my old life, letting go of where I thought I'd be by 27. I didn't think I'd be back home living with my parents, needing help with a lot of things. And I like to remind myself, like, it definitely can get better. But I also remind myself, it might not. This might be your new normal. And so, Ashley, you have to figure out how to make this work for you. And I hope whoever's listening to this, like, I get it. It is a bitch living with chronic illness. It is hard and tiring. Sometimes it feels like everything is just out of reach. Like, if I just had that extra 10%, I could do it. But I just want to acknowledge that, like, I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is. And a lot of times people are like, but look at the bright side. And sometimes there is no bright side. There just isn't. And that's okay. I think it's okay. I took probably 2 years to grieve. And I'm just coming out the other side of like, okay, let's get to work. Let's figure it out from here. I'm just in the early stages of accepting it. And there are days when I sit in my car and I drive around and I cry and I miss my old self. And I miss my old life. And then, you just start again. So, like I say always, you're not alone. It's hard. And it's okay to acknowledge that it's hard. I hope everyone has a great day.